Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.
Y'all ready for this?
Ladies and gentlemen, week 12 is in the books, and I'm torn. Some of my teams had a pretty good week, came out with some good wins, and jumped up in the rankings. And some of my teams fell flat on their face and made me wonder to myself, what is going on? If we're going to have a bad week, I'd rather it be in week 12 and not week 22 when we're trying to get in the championship game, but I digress. We're absolutely going to be talking about some of the teams that got lucky. Now you might be thinking, JK, the last time you lost, you said it was luck too. Is everything luck? You never just lose. No, I will absolutely admit when I lose. And there have been times I've flat out lost. But you have to look at the context. And we certainly will. Just like I showed you, 3 weeks ago or so, it was luck. And this week, oh my gosh, this was luck. But let's go ahead, get to the specific team, and then I'll explain to you why it was luck. That team is the Peach Creek Purgatory. Now, we lost this week, and it was a landslide. Holy crap. You know how last week I said I wanted to double the guy's score? I almost got my score doubled this week. We lost 657. Yeah, that was my score. 657 to 1162, I think. Yeah, 1162. I had to double check. Dang, JK, you got throttled. You got clapped. Well, this was the luckiest week of my opponent's life. Now, my opponent was also on a 5-game winning streak. Excuse me, I was the 6th. So he was on a 5-game winning streak. The team that I was playing this week beat the other undefeated team. So he has beat the top 2 teams in the league back-to-back weeks. Yikes. I don't know about the game last week for him, but for us, yeah. Because I'd said it was luck. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to show you why. In order to get the average heading into week 12, I had to go all the way back to week 1. And keep in mind, because of the wonky weeks, it was a week and a half. So we're actually dividing the total number of points by 11.5. The opponent's average was 883. Definitely a respectable number. Definitely a good number, but you can already tell that it's a lot less than what he actually scored. My average through 11.5 weeks leading into week 12 was 916. Another good number, a whole heck of a lot more than what I actually scored. So that means my opponent had 279 more points than normal, or his average, and I had 259 points less than my average. That is 530 some odd point difference. I lost by 505. So if we would have scored averages, I would have won. If there wouldn't have been a 530 point difference in what they were supposed to score or normally score and what I normally score, I could have understood. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I just lost. No. On top of all that, when we look at who did well for me, the averages went out the window because his guys doubled or even tripled in some cases or quadrupled, I'm not even kidding, their averages. So let's get to that. My top score, Ketel Marte, 55. It's not terrible. It's definitely not good for a total, but, not bad. Second, Yandy Diaz, 41. Oh, okay, that's it's a bit of a drop off. And then Otto Lopez with 41. Okay. Consistent there, right? Yeah, my highest pitcher was a midweek pickup, Robert Gasser, who got me 28. My second highest was a reliever, Adrian Morejon, who got me 27. Yeah. Let's go over to the people who didn't do well for me. I'm not even going to talk about the people who scored, actual points for me. The people who got negatives. Freddie Peralta, negative 19 points. Gave up 10 earned runs or something. He was averaging 21 points before that. So again, I took the negative 19, added 19, and then divided by his number of starts leading up to this point. That's hilarious. Stephen Kolek averaged 24, got negative 25. So Just those two right there, that is a 40 and then 50 point difference. Yeah, 90 points wouldn't have, won you the game. You're right, it wouldn't have. But if we're talking about luck and we're talking about things that happen that benefit him and definitely don't benefit me, that's what I'm talking about. Now let's move to his side. Jack Caglianone, he scored 70 points this week. So again, I took the number of points he scored this week and then divided by 11.5. He was averaging 36 points a week. He literally almost doubled. Is it possible? Yes. But also lucky. Dustin May, before his 69 point game, he had a 20 point average. So I said quadruple. He, not necessarily quadrupled, but close. Anyways, he was averaging the 20 points. He scored almost 70. Then, Tatsui Amai. He had games where he had negative like 10, 15 points. He was averaging 13. He scored 44. JK, you still wouldn't have won. You're right. I wouldn't have won. But when you look at luck, look at everything that went into a loss, you got to talk about that. In any case, we were very vehemently trying to figure out what are some ways we can get back into this game. Because he had Zach Wheeler, Dustin May, and someone else go on Monday. So he scored almost 300 points. It was like 260. And I scored like 70. I had like one pitcher going. Okay. So, I got time to come back. Nope. The closest I got it was maybe it might have been that. Think about it. It might have been that. It was like 230 or something. In any case, let's talk about the people who tried to help us. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and read this off. Robert Gasser, also Mike Burrows. You were supposed to piggyback off of Mai, and Mai was like, let me take this, man. I'm actually gonna do well. Jack Perkins, you did well for me. Thankfully, you had several strikeouts because you gave up a few runs, so yeah, thank you. Joe Rock, thought you were going to pitch a little bit more for me. You did not, because you're supposed to piggyback, but that's cool. And then Victor Caratini, because as soon as I drop him and Kirk decides to go flat, Caratini decides to absolutely go off. People we dropped. Jamison Tynan, that one hurt my heart. That one hurt my heart, but not as much as Connor Norby. Big Connor Norby fan. But bam, got some autograph cards of his, making some rainbows. I'm excited, but that one hurt my heart. We also dropped Joe Rock, Miles Mikolas, because I didn't start him because they gave someone a day off. So yeah, go figure. I miss out on, I don't think he had that many. I think he literally had like 2 points, but still, whatever. And then Mike Burrows, we dropped him as well. So we are 10-2. Again, not bad at all, but super frustrating, man. I was so upset, but you know what? This guy needed more than that I did, right? This week, we're already off to a good start, but of course, Javier Assad decides he's going to start today. For some odd reason, I had him starting tomorrow, and I didn't start him, and he got me like 20 some odd points. Well, would have. He got my bench 20 some odd points, so yeah, so 10-2. I'm upset because of the fact I lost, not upset because of the fact that, we're 10-2. So again, I'm happy about that, but we're still second place, first in our division. Not the worst thing in the world. Next team we're talking about is the Russell My Gym Jams team. And this one hurt real bad, because I lost to the little punk who tried to do everything he could to make me overpay for, I think it was Alec Bohm last year or 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah, so frustrating. I lost 5-9-2. I don't understand how, because I was beating him the first few days, and then my guys literally crapped the bed. That's why he got lucky. He never changed his lineup. It was the same guys. Like, he didn't change. I lost to an inactive player. That's super frustrating. But again, when I talk to you about my players who did well, there's not a whole lot. Because we're going to start with Yandy Diaz. One extra base hit. He went 9 for 23 and had a 340 plus batting average. That's one of my positives. One extra base hit, and it wasn't a home run. Someone who did hit home runs was CJ Abrams. He hit 3, in fact, and actually helped him get to 5 extra bases. Jung Ho Lee had 4 extra bases, 1 home run. Don't really expect that from Jung Ho Lee. He also had a stolen base for him. I had a win from Christopher Sanchez and 2 saves from Kenley Jansen. Those, ladies and gentlemen, were my positives. Moving on to the other side, Xavier Edwards was 2 for 19. Wilson Contreras were 2 for 22. Dalen Lyle was 1 for 16. And Matt Chapman had the golden sombrero times 4. He went 0 for 17. The golden sombrero's 4 strikeouts, but I don't know if they were all strikeouts. I'm just saying he went 0 for 16 plus 1, 0 for 17. So yeah, I don't know if they were actually strikeouts, but I mean, they could have been. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He didn't do anything for me. He had 1 RBI and 2 walks for me the entire week. Yeah, that was pretty frustrating. Then we're going to move on over to the pitching. Kevin Gausman got clapped. 31 plus ERA with a 5.5 whip. That ruined the ERA and whip for me. I thought at least I was going to win those two. So that could have made it a little better, but nope. Thanks, Kevin Gausman. And as we get to the adds and drops, I'm not going to list them all because there were several, but I am like embarrassed. I really am, because I lost this little chump. I don't know, man. I am frustrated. But again, if we're going to lose, let's lose now and not in the quarters, the semis, or the championships, right? So hopefully you've gotten a chance to look at my adds and drops, because now we're going to move on over to the South Harmon Institute of Technology. And going into Saturday, I was leading like 10-4, so I felt good. Going into Sunday, I was losing. I don't know how, but I ended up losing 5 categories to 11 categories to 2 categories. What? Now, I also want to point out that my opponent did have a really good team. He had Bazana, Machado. He had that man, Bryce Harper. He did a little something this weekend. No wonder he blew past me with home runs and total bases and RBIs. Wild, just absolutely wild. So that wasn't luck. That was just those players being phenomenal. In any case, let's get to my top performers. He's not going to be super deep, but we're going to start with CJ Abrams, who had 17 total bases, 3 home runs, and 1 stolen base. Casey Schmidt, who had 16 total bases and 1 home run. And then TJ Rumfeld. Woo, baby. 15 total bases, 3 home runs, and 8 RBIs. Christopher Sanchez also got us a win. Those are my positives. Now let's go on over to the negatives. Really slow weeks for Dalen Lyle and Xavier Edwards and Troy Johnston, mainly because he's losing playing time. Rockies, what are you doing? He is literally one of your best hitters. Troy Johnston, I'm going to go on a limb and say this, I don't know if it's true, the highest batting average against righties, and you sit him 2 games in a row against righties? What a joke organization. You're worse than the Browns with this decision. As we do the adds and drops, we added Jacob Latz and Noelvi Marte and dropped Mickey Moniak. That one kind of hurt. And Noelvi Marte, because didn't have him for the 3 home run stretch, then picked him up, didn't get me any home runs, didn't get me any stolen bases, and barely got playing time. So yeah, that wasn't great. But now we're going to move on to a little bit more positive. Not the best, but some positive. We're going to go with the Kikumbas. Now, this week we tied 4-all. Now, I really wish we could have gotten extra stolen base, which is what we tied in, or a save. You heard me right. We tied in saves. I feel like all of my teams are built for saves, and I tied in saves? That's super frustrating. In any case, let's go ahead and get to our top performers. Dylan Dingler had 2 home runs, scored 7 runs himself, and had 5 RBIs. Then my man South Stewart had 1 home run, but 11 RBIs. And then I had wins from Sanchez, Ohtani, and woo! We need to be more consistent. Woo! Do you hear me? Woo! On the other side, Ernie Clement nursing a hip, so was iffy throughout the week. Then Lyle just has not been doing well these past few weeks. Definitely saw his production slow. But he'll hit that spurt where it's oh, I need to make sure I have those home runs, those stolen bases, right? And then, of course, Troy Johnston, we talked about him losing playing time. I don't understand why, but whatever. I'm not the Rockies owner or manager, so they can continue to suck. But then, as we get to the pitching, subpar outings from Mr. Arrighetti Spaghetti and Ohtani. Ohtani didn't have a good outing? No. It could have been worse. I mean, he still got the win, but does this mean Ohtani is losing his ability to pitch? No. Nope. Just making some really funny rage bait there. He's not. He's just having a stretch where he's looking somewhat normal on the mound and still doing very well at the plate. In any case, we saw this coming from Arrighetti Spaghetti. Dude, you were getting luckier on the mound than my fantasy teams were getting unlucky in fantasy. And that also led to you being our only drop of the week. So, congratulations. Now we move on to the Kent Murphy Dingers, where it was a pretty confident win, 6-1 this week, bringing my record to 10-1-2. Our top scorer was Mr. Nick Kirch, 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. McGonigal had 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. Ooh, let's get some people on base, Tigers. Then we also, from my boy, Mr. Corbin Carroll, had 8 RBIs and a stolen base. And then pitching wise, we had wins from Woo and Sanchez and Carlos Rodon. Golf clap, Mr. Rodon. And then we had 2 saves each from Mr. Tanner Scott and Kenley Jansen. So, thank you. On the other side, people didn't do well for me. Very inconsistent, Mr. Raleigh O'Brien. Please find yourself. Please, for the love of God, find yourself. Also, Caleb Killian. I don't think you pitched for me at all this week. Is that because the Giants just were so bad there was no way you could get in the game? I don't know. But I guess it's better than have you come in a non-safe situation and do poorly and hurt my ERA and whip. And then sticking with the pitching, Mackenzie Gore had 10 strikeouts, but also like a 5 or 6 plus ERA. And then Carlos Rodon got me a win, but had a 5 plus ERA. So let's run some consistency there, fellas. And then, of course, we had some hitters who just weren't doing great. Dalen Lyle, Riley Green, and Hunter Goodman. Not great. Moving on to the adds and drops, we added Nueve Marte. That is quickly becoming a big problem for me. Add not guys and then dropping them. Because that's what we did. We dropped Nueve Marte. We also picked up Emilio Pagan and Joshua Baez. Joshua Baez up to like 25 or 26 home runs down the minor leagues. Just had a 4 home run game. Cardinals. What else does he have to do? Holy crap. Moving on over this side, of course, we dropped Nueve Marte like we talked about before. And then also AJ Puke. I know it's Puck, but come back from Tommy John, or I think it was Tommy John, had a setback. He was like super close to returning and then had a setback, so that kind of sinks. And then we also dropped Ezekiel Duran. We picked him up and then dropped him because that super utility just wasn't doing much of anything for me. So yeah. Last thing we're talking about is the Cheese Weasel. So as usual, we're going to read off the stats and tell you where we are. I'm very happy to announce that this week we started in 4th place with 105 points. Ooh, what is up, guys? Yeah, I'm telling you now, it's Wednesday and we're not sitting at 105 points anymore. But it was nice to be up there for a few days. Hopefully we'll see it again. We had 1 home run each from Mr. Casey Schmidt, Taylor Ward, Christian Yelich, and Yordan Alvarez, while we had 4 home runs from Mr. Zach Neto. And then we're going to move over to the pitching, where we got 2 wins from Zach Wheeler, 1 hold from Jason Adam, and 1 save each from Mr. Jacob Latz, Mr. Devin Williams, which you didn't screw it up this time, but you got real freaking close there, bud, Mr. Paul Sewald, and Mr. Allison. Then we're going to move over to the losses. We got a loss each from Mr. Michael King, Logan Webb, and Paul Skeens, all of which were pretty tough luck losses. We didn't have any blown saves, so that's good. Heading on over to the ads, we added Hurston Waldrop, Troy Johnston, Gabriel Marino, Dustin May, which was a huge fail on my part, and TJ Rumfeld. And then we dropped Spencer Strider because he got hurt again, Michael Soroka because he got hurt again, Dustin May because he hurt us, and Michael King because why would he do well right after I drop him? Yeah, that's frustrating. In any case, now we're going to move to the people I think you should be picking up, and the number 1 person has to be Joshua Baez again. I don't know what the Cardinals need to see to bring him up, and I also don't know what else you need to see in order to pick him up. Now, if you're in leagues with me, I don't know if you're going to have the opportunity to pick him up because I already did. In any case, someone else I think you should pick up, Jack Caglianone. He was not doing very well. Now he's doing pretty decently, and he's getting more consistent playing time at first because Pasquantino went down last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. So should probably be looking at that. We also got Mr. AJ Smith-Shawver starting on a rehab assignment, so that's good. If you don't have him, go ahead and pick him up because I think he could be a really good addition. Another good addition along with Hurston Waldrop to that Braves lineup. Ooh, I don't know if we're looking at any bullpens or anything, but if you have a better person to pick up in the Athletics bullpen, let me know because no one is doing well in that bullpen. Hogan Harris, nope. Elvis Alvarado, nope. Sterner, nope. They got rid of Scott Barlow. I mean, he definitely wasn't doing good, but yeah. This is more of a don't pick anyone up in that bullpen because I don't know who's gonna do anything good. They might have saved spots, but they probably won't follow through on them. So yeah, there we go. That's gonna do it for the people I think you should add, and also for the recaps because I hear my kids going crazy upstairs and I need to go be a dad. So you all have a great rest of this week. I am Jake, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.